Hi, welcome everyone to Illuminating Minds Radio. This is Dr. Joanna Wells. And today I'm going to start off by talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and how you can be very wealthy. And then later on I'm going to talk about more of the trust and being a diplomat and all that towards the end, okay? So I'm going to let you know something very interesting. When I first got started on Bitcoin, that was back in 2017. And I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know much about it. All I knew, it would have been a great investment. And, have you ever had that shoulda, woulda, coulda moment? Like, if I shoulda, woulda, coulda, done this or done that, I would have had more money. I would have had more Bitcoin. I would have had more money and all this stuff. So, we go through that. And we tend to kick ourselves in the butt. But now, how to get wealthy on Bitcoin? It is a long-term investment and isn't something that you put money in and then all of a sudden you're going to be a millionaire. Okay? It depends on how much you put in there on Bitcoin, how much you invest in Bitcoin. So let's say, last year we were still in the winter. And the winter means that crypto is pretty much dead for 18 months. Nothing's really moving. It's actually like a flat line. And that is the best time to invest in Bitcoin. Usually people will invest when the price goes way up. And then they get excited. And they're like, I'm going to put money in Bitcoin. But they wait too late to do so. Okay? I'm here to tell you, you're not too late yet. You're not too late. Actually, you'll probably never be really too late because Bitcoin is going to keep going up and up and up no matter what. Yes, there's going to be pullbacks here and there. There's going to be retracements and capitulation when Bitcoin is just kind of going through, a healthy correction where it can pull back some and then it will go back up again, even to higher levels. So what my strategy is, and I'm going to share this with you, is, like what I was doing last year and the year before, is just buying Bitcoin dollar cost average, which means that you just buy Bitcoin whether it's up or down. You don't care if it's up or down. And a lot of newbies, what they do, they tend to freak out right away. They freak out when, let's say they put $100 in and all of a sudden, it's down to $50, holy cow, And you can't come into it like that. You got to come into it as a long-term investment. So you have to think of it like, how's Bitcoin going to be in 5 years or 10 years from now? So instead of putting money into a retirement fund, and, this is not financial advice, but this is what I'm doing. So instead of putting it into a retirement fund where, pretty much it could all be taken from you or it could be completely reduced by the time you do retire, you put your money into Bitcoin. And then by the time you're ready to retire, hell, you can retire very early. And you're going to see a major growth with Bitcoin. So you see that Bitcoin was at 27,000 last year. It even dropped down to 16,000, which we crypto investors see it as a buying opportunity. Oh my gosh, it just went down even lower. Holy crap, time to get in. So I kept, buying in, didn't matter what the price was, up and down. And then, as a business owner, I would sell my products and telling my clients, you pay me in Bitcoin. So a lot of people paid me in Bitcoin, which was freaking wonderful. And I'm really grateful for that. And because of that, that's why I'm seeing such amazing results. Now, Bitcoin in the short term is not going to make you rich. I get that, okay? But what is going to make you wealthy is by investing in other coins, altcoins, like Ethereum, which is still pretty low, okay? Shiba Inu is very low, very low. Like you can buy, like with $2,000, you'll have millions of Shiba Inu coins, which I do suggest to invest in. Again, not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing with my portfolio. Investing in baby DOGE is pretty good. They have a really good project. They have many projects actually, and they've been around for quite a while. So, just $1,000, 2,000, I mean, you can get trillions of baby Doge coins. So little coins like that you can invest in right now, okay? Now, the altcoin season doesn't really start until after the Bitcoin halving, which Bitcoin halving begins mid-April in May, okay? Early May, mid-April of this year. And we're already seeing a major uptrend with Bitcoin. How crazy is that? It was 27K last year in the fall. Now all of a sudden it reached over $52,000. Freaking exciting. So you invest in Bitcoin and then you invest in certain altcoins that is going to hold weight, but you don't invest in pump and dump coins. And what I mean by pump and dump, those are the ones that they're like, oh, you can invest in this, and they barely have any creators. You know, when you go to their website, they maybe got 1 or 2 creators, maybe 3, or developers of the coin. Not much is going on, but they really try to explode it so that the coin will just pump. But you have to be very, very careful when you invest in these types of coins, because they can pump and then there could be a great big dump, okay? And I'll tell you through my experience, I invested in one of the coins by Crypto. I forgot what it was called. It started with a V something. And I put over $2,500 into the coin, but I came in very late. Okay, while they're pumping the crap out of the coin, I came in very late. And so what happened, that $2,500 turned into like a few cents. Okay, I invested in Magic Craft. They pumped the crap out of that one too. It went up to $12,000 after an investment of $1,500, and I sold because I knew we were entering a bear market, and the bear market is when all the prices go way down. So I took my profits immediately. I took it, well, it went up to 12K, and then it went down a little further, but I took my profit, okay? And after that, all the coins just went to crap. All the altcoins just went pretty low. I mean, pretty ugly. Okay, which is very scary. But when you get into the market, in the crypto market, and you don't know much about it, you don't know when the cycles are happening, when to buy, when to sell, when there's going to be a bearish time, when is the winter going to kick in. If you come in and you don't know any of these cycles, it could really mess you up. But if you think of everything long term, you have to get it in your head, this is for long term, this is for the next 5 years, or so. Now, altcoins, on the other hand, can make you very rich this year, because we're just now moving into the Bitcoin halving. So this is the beginning for you guys to become very, very wealthy, to become millionaires. And by investing in these altcoins that are not as expensive like Bitcoin is, you can actually see how the prices just go parabolic. They go nuts. Around the fall time and the winter, it's going to go nuts this year. So what do? What is my strategy? Well, my whole aim and focus is to build up more Bitcoin. That's the aim and focus, because Bitcoin is solid compared to all these other altcoins, all these other projects going on. So I invest in these little coins, betting that they're going to go up. They're going to go really crazy. Okay, you invest $5,000, $2,000, $10,000, whatever, and then you see a huge ROI, return of investment, and it's going to blow your freaking mind. Okay, it's really fun when you get into it early enough, though. Early enough, you don't want to wait later, and so what you do is you wait for the altcoins to go up crazy. And you're making a really good return on your investment, and then you make that decision. Okay, do I sell all the coins? Do I sell partial of the coins? Do I sell half? And then you move it over to Bitcoin. Then you just keep building up on your Bitcoin portfolio. That's what you do. This is what the millionaires and crypto millionaires and billionaires are doing. Exactly that. Okay, because they know certain trends, they take certain risks, and these altcoins are very, very risky. I'm not going to lie to you. Someone asked me if I was going to be teaching about airdrops. Airdrops are good, but at the same time, they're absolutely risky, okay? And some of these airdrops, you would have to stake the coins, where you have to have them locked up for 6 months. And I have a problem with that, because you don't know how they're going to be. Like what happened with Luna. Luna, I mean, that coin went up to 100, almost 200, no, over $200 from what I remember. And then all of a sudden, the coin went to zero. Okay, these are altcoins. And we were thinking this is going to be the best project ever. It's coming from Korea, Terra Luna. They have their own blockchain. This is it. This is going to change the world. Well, it changed the world in a very negative way. So people that were holding Luna, they lost their money. And I had in Luna for a little bit, but something, intuitively told me, what, I'm just going to move it over to Bitcoin or Ethereum. And within 2 days later, everything went to zero. It was really, really sad for a lot of those people. So airdrops, I mean, if something happens and your coins are locked up and you're staking them with a project that you don't know about, you're not sure, they don't really have a good track record, then what happens is there could be a possibility you can lose all your coins, you see. So there's a lot of risks involved. And I prefer to have my coins in my wallet. In a good wallet, a wallet that is anonymous, that is private, and my Trezor wallet, okay? So that being said, you have to make sure that the coins are going to be strong to uphold the times that, the bearish times. And so far I've seen Shiba Inu do pretty good, Dogecoin do pretty good, Baby Doge, Peppy, there's a bunch of other ones that I'm putting my eyes on. And, with altcoins, maybe you don't put too much money into it. You put maybe a little bit, a third, just a tiny bit of money, what you can invest to lose, or whatever you can afford to lose, sorry. And just put it in there and see what happens, okay? But I have a good feeling about SHIBA and some of the other altcoins that I've invested in, because in fall and winter, we're going to see a huge turnaround. That's when the altcoins start heating up. That's when they start to go absolutely parabolic. And then when we move into 2025, Bitcoin is absolutely going to go parabolic. Now, people are saying, some gurus are saying, that Bitcoin could possibly, for sure it's going to go to 100K. That's a no-brainer. And it can go to 200K. It could start hitting the six figures. Once it starts hitting six figures, forget about it. So if it hits six figures this year, then next year it can go up to $400,000 or $500,000. Okay? So you don't want to wait until next year to see if it goes up to 100 grand or 200 or whatever, because then, you pretty much have lost your chance. Now, unless you see as everything as long-term. Now, from what I was hearing as well from Plan B, this next winter that's coming up is not going to be a very good winter. So it's good to make sure that you sell around 2025, early 2026. Because this winter could possibly last for 7 years. Okay? That's what he said. Usually, if through the records, the history, historically, we've seen it only last 18 months. But there could be a possibility it can last 7 freaking years. So what do you do during that time? So that's why I say jump on it now. Jump on the opportunity. Learn as much as you can about crypto. And also stay away from the scammers. Stay away from anyone who tells you that no worries, you know what, I'm going to show you how to make, money every month, withdraw daily profits every month. When they say withdraw, stay away from those people, because they have a platform for you to put your money in, and that's when they rip you off. Okay, you have to be very, very careful, because there's a lot of scammers in this space. I got scammed many times. And I learned my lesson, okay? I learned my lesson. A lot of them are really damn good. They'll get people really good. So you have to be very careful and make sure that your coins are on your wallet. Don't keep them on an exchange very long, like Coinbase or Crypto.com or, whatever, Kraken. You want to keep the majority of your coins in your Trezor wallet or an anonymous wallet or a MetaMask. MetaMask is a decentralized wallet. Something that's going to be completely private, where there's no third party between you. It's just between you and MetaMask, or between you and that wallet, okay? So this is the year to be wealthy. This is the year to build up on your wealthy empire as a crypto investor, crypto trader, if you wish to learn to be a trader as well, and really bask in the amazing abundance that will be coming your way once you start putting your foot in the door. And many people are very new to this, and I totally understand. And many people have gotten scammed by the crypto. And I've heard stories, you know, people have lost $20,000, $10,000 in Bitcoin because they're putting their money in these platforms that people are promising them that they're going to be withdrawing money every day. 1.3, 2.3%, 4%. You're going to be able to withdraw money every day. Bullshit. Okay, we got scammed by a company called AVAX, and we totally thought that they were all legit. They were even registered with some agency in Australia. And I forgot I think ASIC is what I remember. And because of that, and they put millions of dollars, $5 million into the company as a bond, we thought, okay, you know what, this company is legit. And then the guy I was working with, Worldly Traveler, the one that I was learning from as well, who's the crypto millionaire, he totally believed it too. And he put in a lot of money in there. He lost his money. And I put in a little bit, whatever I could afford to lose. And I told everyone, well, you only put in what you can afford to lose, you know, to check it out and test it out and see what happens. And they really get you to keep putting more money, making you believe, oh, if you keep putting more, guess what? More is going to come out. That's how they get you. And they freaking scammed us. Okay. So I learned my lesson. Now my crypto are on private wallets, not on exchanges, only if I have to do a trade, if I want to do a major trade, like if I want to do a short or a long or whatever, I will put my crypto in a certain exchange. But right now is the opportunity to just long Bitcoin. Long means, you know, betting that it's going to go up, and you can easily do that from your spot wallet, from your wallet. And whenever you see Bitcoin going up, let's say, okay, you know, I bring this as an example only. Some of you can afford one Bitcoin, some of you cannot. It's fine, but this is just an example. For instance, like I have one Bitcoin that I use to trade with. Okay, so I have that in my wallet, my Trezor wallet. Okay, this is the one that I will use to trade with and live off of. So I will, you know, as soon as Bitcoin goes up, it goes up $1,000, $2,000. I will take that money, move it out of my Trezor wallet, and move it onto my Exodus wallet. Okay, which is a private wallet, anonymous wallet. I'll move it there. And then if it's still at that price, then I sell it. Okay, I sell it because I bet that it's going to go up. So I see that it went up, so I sell it. Okay, and then I just hold on to it. And then and if it goes up again, so when the Bitcoin goes up, that's longing. You can long a position that way. That's just waiting for it to go up, and then you sell. You sell what goes up. And then, of course, Bitcoin is going to go down. It's going to do retracement up and down, all over the place. But when it goes down, that's your opportunity to take that Bitcoin that you just traded, like $2,000, which goes into USDT. So I trade it from Bitcoin to USDT, which is a stable coin, and it doesn't go anywhere, doesn't move anywhere. And when the price goes way down a bit, let's say, okay, it just dropped $2,000-$3,000. Guess what you do? You buy more Bitcoin. You buy with that $2,000, and then you wait for it to go back up again. You make another profit. That's how you can build up your Bitcoin, by longing in that way. But you could do it through your wallet. Okay. Shorting Bitcoin is a different story. That's when you bet that the Bitcoin is going to go down a certain way, and you have to really learn and understand the graphs, the charts. Okay. If you don't understand the charts, then it's not a good idea to do it. And then you would take some of your Bitcoin over to the exchange, like Kraken. Bybit is a very good one that I do like and trust. And then you bet on it that it's going to go down a couple $1,000s, you know, and you make profit that way. Okay, that's shorting your position. So I'm going to be teaching my students on how to invest in crypto and how to trade crypto as well. And I show you everything that I know and what I've learned, especially from my friend, Nick, Nick, who passed away. Unfortunately, he passed away 2 years ago. And he taught me a lot of what I need to know, but a lot of it I learned along the way. I had other mentors as well. It wasn't just him, to learn to trade. Okay. So, you know, shorting, I don't really get into that until maybe a later time. It depends on the market. It all depends on the market. But when the market is going up, you know, like Bitcoin is going up, we call that a bull market or a bull run. Okay. So right now we are in the bull market, and it is a bull cycle. And when Bitcoin halving happens in April, that's when, shortly after, that's when Bitcoin starts to go parabolic. And that is when the Bitcoin could possibly, it can go up to the all-time high that it was in 2021, which is $69,000, 70 grand. And then it can go up to 85, it can go up to 95, and eventually 100,000 this year, for sure this year. Okay? So, but, you know, there's some people that hodl. You know, they're called hodlers or hodlers. And yeah, I hodled to a certain extent because I didn't really know how to trade at the time. But now that I know how to trade, I don't hodl as much. I buy. I buy and I sell. When the price goes up, I sell. And then, you know, I make money. I make profits along the way, and I don't really lose much Bitcoin because I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay? I know exactly how much. And I only take so much out. I don't, you know, because this year is the year to really live below your means. In other words, like my husband and I were living below our means. We, you know, only live on a certain small amount every month because we live here in Mexico and everything is so cheap. So we live below our means. Okay. Like say that, for instance, we only make, I get 2 to 3 grand from Bitcoin when I do my trades. I mean, really we get 10 grand a month because Bitcoin last month was like at 42 grand, right? Bitcoin this month is 52, so we just made $10,000, okay? Just on that one Bitcoin alone. And then the next month, another 10 grand. This is an example. So during that time, I don't take 10,000 out and hold on to, you know, I don't do that. I'd only take a couple thousand here, a few thousand here a month, pays the rent, pays the food, and that's it. And I let Bitcoin do its thing. And because I know that after the Bitcoin halving, it's going to go insane. And you take more profits, of course. And then what happens, you know, if you've ended up taking some more money out of Bitcoin that you're like, crap, man, I wish I could have taken so much. Well, guess what? The altcoins are going to help you with that. It's going to replace the money that you lost with Bitcoin. You see what I mean? Because the altcoins, when they start freaking pumping, get prepared and ready. You are going to be amazed. Imagine when Bitcoin was at $100 at the time. Imagine when it was at $1 at the time and you just bought a bunch of Bitcoin, right? And then all of a sudden it would have been labeled like an altcoin, right? Back then, just say. And all of a sudden it starts pumping like crazy. You got a bunch of Bitcoins. Same thing with the Shiba Inus. You got a bunch of Shiba Inus. You got 1 million of them. You got 4 million. You got 500 million of them, whatever. And you just start seeing those suckers popping like popcorn. I mean, my gosh. I've seen it all happen, and it was the most amazing thing. But the problem is, when you are new to this investing, what happens is people don't take profits. People don't sell when they should be selling. See, the altcoins is when you want to sell. And then knowing when to take the profits. So the good news is in the fall and winter and next year, the altcoins, all next year, the altcoins are going to go insane. So you have plenty of opportunities with the altcoins to build up on your Bitcoin portfolio. You see what I'm saying? So if you know, maybe you don't have enough money just for one Bitcoin. Hell, I didn't start off with one Bitcoin. Well, 2 years ago when the coin went really, really high, but I did start off with Bitcoin years ago, back in 2016 when it was $700. I bought one Bitcoin. I didn't know what it was going to do. And it shocked me when it went to 6 grand. I was like, what the hell? If I would have bought 10 of those suckers, 100 of them, what the heck was I thinking, right? So now, I mean, with the altcoins, instead of us kicking ourselves in the butt, wishing we shoulda, coulda, woulda, what we do, we have opportunities with the altcoins to do exactly that, what happened with Bitcoin. So that is what you do, and that is the most exciting thing. Now, many people don't want to believe in Bitcoin. Now, a lot of these sovereign groups, I'm going to talk about the sovereign groups because I was part of these sovereign groups. I was part of the major secure party creditor movement groups and all that stuff. And a lot of these other conspiracy groups that are just All they talk about is the problem. They don't talk about solutions. Always talking about problems, victim, woe is me, I'm always in debt, oh, the president's so bad, oh, everyone, there's so much racism and all this stuff. Okay, we get it. But no one talks about solutions. Only bullshit solutions, though, right? Bullshit solutions. But anyway, so then when you start talking about Bitcoin in those circles, right away they're going to attack you. They're going to attack you. Not all of them. I'm just saying some of them will attack you because they believe in gold and silver, and I totally agree with them as well. Gold and silver is really God's money, right? They call it God's money. That's what Robert Kiyosaki calls it. It's the earth money. And it's tangible. You could hold it in your hands, of course. But you have to understand that gold was seized from the people back in 1933 by Franklin D. Delano Roosevelt. And he seized the gold from our family ancestors, who were residing in America at the time. And if they didn't, they would be in prison for 10 years or they would have to be fined $10,000. So if that gold and silver that's so tangible in your hands can be seized by the government, then it's not really a good investment. Because any moment they can seize it from you. Unless you put it on your trust, okay? You put it on a foreign trust that you own, that you have, and I help our students get the foreign trust set up, which takes you out of their jurisdiction as a slave of the plantation into being the diplomat, okay? Being a diplomat, an executor of your own trust that you created, and it pulls your status out of their jurisdiction as a debtor slave, as a U.S. citizen, U.S. person who has to who's got to be taxed, who's told what to do, whose children are owned by the state, whose property is owned by the state. Okay, it pulls you out of that jurisdiction with this foreign trust and changes your status to a diplomat. That's the way I'm going to explain it in that way, in baby terms, okay? And with a diplomat, as a diplomat, you have a lot of rights. You have a lot of say-so because you are no longer seen as a slave. It pulls you out of the jurisdiction of being a slave, okay? And that's why I was able to conquer child support and put a stop to my ex-husband's abuse as well as child support, because really, it is not a law that you have to pay child support. The law, the real law, written on the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. These are statutes which are created by de facto agencies, and de facto is basically fake. They are fake agencies. They're fictional, like a fiction. So they're run on fictitious laws, which are law of statute. Okay? Law of statute can be created anytime. It can be pulled out of thin air, just like the money that they print. But the law, when you come in and say the law, that is an abiding with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And I'm just speaking for the United States because that's all I know, okay? I'm sure if you're from England, you would understand what I'm talking about from your, the laws there or other countries. So we say, is this in accordance with the law? Or the law of mandamus? And, they ended up adding all these new law of statutes. Like if you hit somebody, if you are driving over the speed of 100, then you get a ticket. Wait a second, that was never in the law. It was not in the law. This is a statute. Now, in the law of mandamus, it's basically unless you've hit the person, then that becomes a law. Like, whoa, wait a second, You hit a person. Now you've done an act that you've hurt somebody, so therefore you have to be charged for that, right? But they are creating these laws of statutes based on fictitious de facto courts that to prevent problems from happening. I get it, but you're getting the ticket before the thing ever happened. Okay, that is not part of the law. And child support is the same thing. It is a statute. It is not the law. Okay? And they base these laws and premises based upon money that does not have any value, real value. It used to have gold. It was backed up by gold, backed up by silver, something tangible. But when Nixon came into office, the dollar no longer had that backup. So therefore, they removed the gold standard from the dollar in 1971 when Nixon came in. President Nixon came in. So therefore, they were wildly printing paper money in thin air this whole time. Okay? And then any little sin, which a lot of these laws and rules are all based on biblical, on the Bible. You're a debtor, you're a peasant, you're a sinner. You've gone against God. And then they like to play God and they like to play authority. So therefore, they want to charge you with their debt notes. Oh, you just did something wrong. We're going to give you a ticket. You have to pay these debt notes. You understand? So whereas before, even if you did pay that debt note, you never really paid it. Because the debt note, they are IOU notes. When it's paid to somebody, it's not really paid unless someone else is using their energy and toil to pay for the debt. So really, because the dollar has no backup, that's why they get you to work. That's why they get you to work a career. What career do you want? What do you want to be when you grow up? It's all based on working hours to make money with. Working hours to make fake money with. Okay? So they created the society based upon that, which never really had real value. Imagine if the society was based upon gold and silver. You wouldn't have to work so many long freaking hours just to make that money, just to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, or pay the whatever. Everything would be based on gold and silver, and people would be very wealthy all over the world. People would be fine, okay? So Bitcoin is seen as a way. It is also called as a digital gold. This is the way where people can become free. Instead of accepting these FRN dead notes anymore for your work, you accept Bitcoin, and you're going to realize you don't have to work so much. You don't have to work so hard anymore. Okay? So, for instance, we have Bitcoin in our wallet, and sure, okay, I get it. In the winter, it sucked, okay? See, we didn't sell when we were supposed to sell. We held on after Bitcoin went up to 70,000. We held on thinking it was going to go even higher because we got greedy. And that's what it's called. You go through greed or you go through fear. When you go through greed, we expect that coin is going to keep going to infinity during the bull run or bull cycle. Man, it feels like that, right? So, and I was still pretty new in the market as a trader. So I was like, oh, it's going to keep going. And it didn't. It started to decline. Going down 10 grand, another 10 grand. It started to decline. And so therefore, when that happens, really, when it goes to an all-time high, that's when you decide to sell, okay? So when you sell, it moves into USDT, or you can move it into DAI, which is another stable coin, which is decentralized. And it stays there. It stays there. It doesn't move, doesn't do anything. So, and then as long as you're smart with that, and then when Bitcoin goes down, guess what? It goes back down to 20 grand, guess what? Holy crap, you sold it at 70. Hey, I'm going to buy a few more Bitcoin. That's what you do with your USDT, your stable coins, right? And then you just keep building up and keep going and going and going, right? So the opportunity is, yes, you don't have to work so hard if you know how to invest in Bitcoin and not put your savings in all dollars. Because as you can tell, there is a major appreciation. Not appreciation. Inflation. I apologize. Inflation of the dollar. And when there's an inflation, the dollar is no longer valuable anymore because they keep printing the shit out of it, and it's based on criminal acts. It is criminal money. And it is foreign money too. Foreign money. It is not American money, it is foreign. So, and this goes to Puerto Rico. by foreign territory, okay? So, see, as Americans, we used to have treasury notes back then, which was backed by gold and silver. It actually had real value. But what happened was these guys that met on Jekyll Island at around 1912, if I'm correct, made this decision. And they were the Rockefellers, I think the Rothschilds, there was a bunch of other guys that made a decision to bring this Federal Reserve in. And how funny, around that time, here comes Hitler. And that's a whole other topic right there I really wanted to touch on. And Hitler was trying, and I'm not saying anything nice about him. Okay, I'm not here to say, oh, Hitler was trying to do something good. And then, no, I'm just telling you based on some facts, okay? And it was based on an article I read, and he has a lot of facts. I might even get his book. But he said Hitler was trying to put a stop to Zionism, because Zionism are the Jewish people that are the materialists, or Satanist Jews, I guess you can say, that have gone so materialistic that created these banking systems to control the world. He knew this. He knew this. That's why he had a thing about Jewish people. And it was supposed to get the Zionists out of the country. That's what he wanted. So he had a paranoia about it. He wanted all the Jews out of Germany because he was afraid. And he gave the German Jews time to leave. And many of them didn't leave and many left. Okay? But the ones that didn't leave, they didn't listen to him, they ended up getting executed. All right? Now, number one, it is not right what he did. It is absolutely horrendous. He should have just went to the people at the top and went after them. But the thing was, they probably weren't at the top really at the time, maybe. And he was freaking out thinking that they're all Jewish people are like that. That was his mistake. Okay? That was his bad. And then he went mad. He went psychotic and nuts. He was a madman. But in the beginning, that was the focal point. That was the focus. He saw what was happening with the Zionist Jews that were going to take over the world. So anyway, what happens is Nazi Germany is over. Okay, it's completely over. They got their butts kicked. Who knows what happened to Hitler? He escaped. They don't know what happened to the guy. And all of a sudden, the Jewish people are being led to Israel. What's going on in Israel right now? Absolute bloodshed. And then when they were led to Israel, the people that were in control, which are the Zionist Jews, are treating the Jewish people like shit anyway. When they went to create Israel, which was the central place for power, they did so by taking over part of Palestine and mutilating those people too. So it's like, what the hell? So you know what the hell's going on, right? So the Zionist Jews, now we're going to bring our people to their own land, but yeah, we're going to mutilate and beat and kill and murder men and women and children in Palestine when they didn't do nothing to them. All right. When the Jewish people got their asses really, horribly treated in Germany, and the Zionists decided, oh, we're going to pick on Palestine now? Why don't you go pick on the people that started the shit with you, right? So now we're seeing a lot of craziness going on in Israel, and they're bombing the shit out of Palestine right now. Okay, and then they say, oh, it's Hamas. We got to get rid of Hamas. And really, while they're trying to get rid of Hamas, they're bombing the shit out of little babies and kids and all of this stuff. And the Israel commanders, if you will, they are the Zionists, or they're being ordered by the Zionists. But not all of the Israelis are like that. The Jewish people, the common people, if you will, and the rabbis, they are not part of that Zionism BS. If anything, they are completely against it. Okay? So there's a lot of shit going on. A lot of bloodshed happening. And then now, Zelensky, he's talking about, he's joining the fascist movement himself of being another Nazi, yet he's Jewish. And I think maybe it's not really Nazism, maybe he's a Zionist. I don't know. Okay, because he's Jewish, it would make only sense that he would be a Zionist. And he went over to Canada with Justin Trudeau, and they're both clapping to an ovation, a standing ovation to a 98-year-old Nazi guy. And President Putin is freaking out about it because what the hell? Why are they clapping to a Nazi? So there's a whole issue there that Putin doesn't want Nazism to be spread or Zionism to be spread. Okay, all of this stuff going on where it's always control of people and genocide, whether it's Nazism or freaking Zionism, it doesn't really matter to me. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on, and that's why I tell you all, it is so damn important more than ever before. Try to, again, this is not financial advice. Invest in something that's going to help you get the hell out of where you're at, be able to give you more mobility if something is to happen. It could be the other state over, the other province over. If it's going to be the country, like say if Putin decides to blow up your country, get the hell out of there, go to another country, stay there until things are good. It doesn't have to be forever. You could stay there until things are just kind of calm and go back, Because, here's these other people, these sovereigns and all that, and they just, you need to stand your ground and fight and keep fighting, even if you're getting, if a bunch of soldiers are going to come and blow you up. I mean, trust me, in Colombia, my sister-in-law, who's Colombian, she has told us some freaking stories that will just make your head spin. They grew up seeing people getting blasted in their head, being shot up in their head, not a problem. A soldier walk up, shoot you right there in front of everybody. Not a problem, walk away. Okay, that's normal life by the Amazon River, she told me. That was a normal life, normal way of living. So, and it happens in a lot of places. And if you don't think it's going to happen in your country, you got another thing coming. So, what I'm here to say is, it's a good idea to put money into something. It could be gold and silver before the takeover, anyway, and then try to do what you have to do to have the freedom to be flexible, is what I'm saying, so you can get the hell out if you need to. Get into the Bitcoin, as I mentioned, SHIBA, all these little coins. That's what I'm talking about, these interesting currencies that you can use as a springboard to get the hell out, okay? And also becoming a diplomat, and we call it foreign agent because when you have your foreign trust, it moves you into diplomat status and foreign agent status, where you have a lot of power. And you're no longer seen as these people that are on the collateral on the UCC, because the Americans, every American citizen are collateral on the UCC for China. Okay, because America owes a lot of money to China. So all of you are a bunch of collateral. So when China takes over, you don't want that to happen. You want to get out of that status as soon as you possibly can. You want to move from being a debtor slave of the plantation to foreign agent diplomat, where you create your own foreign trust. You put all your kids and family and beneficiaries, whatever, into that foreign trust. You say the trust owns it. You don't. The trust owns your house. That's paid off, by the way. They have to be paid off. And any of your assets, Bitcoin, gold, silver, whatever the heck you have, you put that shit on your trust. Okay? And this is going to help you remove the debt. Remove all of the debt from the name, because you're no longer a debtor, you're now a creditor because of the foreign trust that you have. And yes, it takes the foreign trust to be able to take you out of that debt jurisdiction. Okay? I know it sounds wacky. You're really confused. It's making your head spin. But this is the exact tool that I used to get me out of debt with child support. When they saw that I was no longer a debtor, they saw that I was a foreign agent, they stopped messing with me. And they dropped all charges against me, and I got my passport back, and I am speaking the frickin' truth, okay? And it's helped students that have gone through the same thing to be able to get their passports back, because now they're no longer seen as a U.S. citizen slave. They are seen as an American indigenous on the land, indigenous of the earth, okay? And with a foreign trust, it has limitless credit to pretty much discharge really anything. I mean, really, it's to discharge anything, but I don't want you coming into it like, okay, well, I can just take out a loan and then I can discharge it anyway. You know, people like that I don't want to deal with, okay? Because there's hit and miss with that. Yes, I've had people that have been able to use the discharging ways of doing it. But the problem is people go in and they write a contract. They write a contract with these companies, with these credit card companies, and then they expect, oh, well, I can just discharge. And that's not the way to go. That's not how I went. That's not how I came to this work. It was to drop child support against me because it was an unjust thing. And I never signed a freaking contract with child support. Okay? So if you're signing contracts and expecting to get away with it, you can hang yourself, is what I'm telling you. All right? That's not what this is for. This is to protect yourself from what is happening, what is coming down the pike very freaking soon. CBDC is coming. Central bank digital currency is coming your way. When that happens, it's over. Okay? Because when everything turns digital, and I'm not talking about Bitcoin. That is a completely different category along with the SHIBA and all that. I'm talking about government-created digital currency that's going to be connected to everything that you do. If you want to fly to Mexico, let's say, and you're using CBDC, they're going to ask you millions of freaking questions why you're going to fly to Mexico. And then they can freeze your account to prevent you from leaving to go to Mexico or prevent you from leaving to go to England or wherever the hell you want to go. That's what I'm talking about. It will prevent you from leaving and then they start creating these 15-minute cities where you're not allowed to get out of the city 15-minute radius and your card is being frozen. That's what I'm talking about. This is not Bitcoin. This is not the altcoins that I've been talking about. But unfortunately, the sovereign communities are going to brainwash you to believe that Bitcoin is part of the CBDC problem. So therefore, let's live in fear. Let's be broke and poor and live on our lands. And we're going to fight to the death. No, that's bullshit. You get the freaking hell out of there. If things get really ugly, you do what you have to do. That's what the German Jews did. That's what even the Germans did. They left their freaking country. They got the frick out of there to protect their families. They didn't want their kids growing up, seeing everyone else getting blown up. They got the fuck out of there, okay? So you have freedom. And the whole point is they make you believe that you are an American. You got to protect your land. You got to stand to the flag. Bullshit. That's a plantation flag. And America has kept you a prisoner. Okay? The United States Corporation has kept you as a frickin' prisoner from being able to leave. You have the right to go anywhere in the world because you are a frickin' Terran. First and foremost, before any nationality, they created the borders, they created the nationalities so they can get you restricted and indoctrinated in their indoctrination camps to teach your kids bullshit. And so we all grew up that way. And therefore believing if we leave the country, we are backstabbing our country. What a bunch of bullshit. It is insane. And I got into it with a freaking guy yesterday. He's a Jewish guy. I think he's a Jewish rabbi. Pissed off at the world. And I'm just asking questions and and making statements that maybe he can elaborate on, and he just starts biting my face and everything. And it's like, dude, I'm here to say that I like your podcast. You're mentioning a lot of really awesome truths that I wish to share with my audience. But no, he had to freaking spit in my face. And I'm thinking, whoa, this guy is a miserable man. And I'll tell you, this guy is definitely not successful or wealthy. He is a broke ass. He's broke, he's poor, and he's pissed off at the world. And you know what? That's not the energy I want to be a part of ever again. I like to help my clients, my audience, become wealthy. Because that's where your freedom is. The wealthier you are, the more free you are. And I'm not saying wealthy in FRM notes. Wealthy in gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So you have the freedom to take your family out and go to a place where you are treated best, where you are treated like a king and queen. That's how you're supposed to live. Not stand there in resistance, because whatever you resist will persist you. You are not to stand there trying to fight for what you got it. You know what? Screw that shit. That's too much energy. Let them get on with it. Come down and have some margaritas with my husband and I. You know, come down to Mexico or go to a place that you feel you're going to be treated best, and wait for the craziness to end. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if Putin pushes that switch, it's over for all the Americans. It's over for many people in the world. I mean, shit, we'll be in Mexico. We'll probably be heading more south if that happens. So if that happens, you know, and you got these clowns running the country of the United States, trying to provoke him to do it, which they want. They want to see America destroyed. And it's insane and sick. But I'm letting you know, America is not the only place in the world. You can go somewhere else. Go somewhere else, live your lives, be free as possible, and just wait until the madness is over. Okay? Look at Germany. The madness is pretty much over now. It's not Nazi Germany anymore. But then again, they're starting to bring in their CBDC stuff. Other countries as well. I heard Russia too. They're going to start bringing in their CBDC stuff as well. And other countries, Thailand, all of that. So you want to be careful from that shit as well. Okay. We chose Mexico because I'm Mexican because of my father. And so we live here in Mexico. And I don't have to deal with visa problems. And it's easier to live. It's a lot cheaper than living in the United States. That's why we decided to live here. And I fell in love with Mexico since I was a kid. It is my bloodline to live here as well. Okay? But again, if Mexico goes south and it turns Nazi, then hell, you know what? You can only do so much when you only have one gun or one rifle and you got a whole army of freaking military that is going to destroy you or be bombed. Okay? So it's you making proper decisions in life. But my thing, this is the way I do it. I am a Bitcoiner big time. We might even head down to El Salvador, the land of Bitcoin, and hang out with the president. Who knows? You know, everyone's into Bitcoin there. Dubai, same thing. People are living on crypto and Bitcoin. They don't even know what the hell they don't even use FRN notes. They don't use paper money hardly. It's gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Okay? But America, they need to get it. Americans need to get it. That what's going to be happening is very effing serious. But it's best to arm yourself the best that you can with what you have, what you know, and that is financial. Arm yourself financially, arm yourself with paperwork the best that you can, so you're able to move out of those borders freely to go somewhere else. All right, hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'm really putting my energy and love and passion into these podcasts more than just a video. Videos, I don't really put much my energy like I do with podcasts. So if you want to be a secured creditor, foreign agent, want diplomat status, you had enough, you want to protect your family, so that way if anything happens, you're able to move out of the borders, go to securecreditor.com, get your Silver Bullet Trust immediately. Before it's too late, really, before it's too late. Because stuff is about to go down. I'm telling you right now. If you want to go and learn about mastering crypto, becoming a crypto investor and trader, my next class comes up in March 8th and 9th. And you can go to securecreditor.com and then you'll find the information there to take you to the website, or just go to soulcraftventures.com/classes. All right? I look forward to seeing you guys, working with you guys, and I'll tell you, this is the time. There's no better time than now to get your crap in order. Take care. Bye for now.